Okay. Uh,
So welcome to everybody, and thank you for coming to our Tejano virtual event today. We're going to be offering Tejano passport points to everyone for coming. I'll be providing some links for you in the chat for that, and we're excited to have two of our fantastic chefs from our Culinary Arts Department today. We have Chef Diaz and Chef Gutierrez, who are going to be presenting on Let's Cook Today. For our workshop today. So thank you all for presenting for us, and you can go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
yes. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Just a correction on that. We have Chef Nickerson here with us helping. Chef Gutierrez is handling some stuff we got going on in the commissary at the moment. He wanted to be here, but he does say hi to everybody. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started, guys. I don't know if you guys saw the menu, and my name is Chef Diaz, by the way. One of my favorite go-tos when you're getting into summer, you want something cool, refreshing. Uh, Obviously, we're not doing drinks, but that would have been a good idea. I'm gonna make you an Italian, which is my passion. I love Italy, everything about it. The food's pasta's universal. We all, if you guys haven't cooked pasta or made pasta, definitely try it. It's such a universal dish or ingredient, turn any dish to whatever you would like, sweet, savory. But I'm gonna make you guys a cold Italian pasta that I make all the time for my family. I made it probably 5 times in the past month. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And along with that, I'm gonna make you guys a basil pesto. Show you guys how to make a real simple, easy. It's everything in the pot. Basically, well, obviously we're not using a pot. We use a plastic container. Blend it. You can use a food processor, of course. But I'm gonna make it, a little bit simpler for the at-home cooks. Okay, which I am still an at-home cook when I'm at home because I don't have all the great equipment that I have here. Hopefully, Santa will be nice this Christmas and bring me something that's on my list. All right, guys. So what we're gonna go ahead and do for you, what I'm gonna do to get started. Of course, you don't have to do this. You can use your broiler or your salamander. A salamander is the same thing as a broiler. It's radiant heat from above. If you guys ever notice what those burners are at the top of your oven, that's what it is. Okay, you guys can have a high or low setting. I'll use that if I don't have a butane torch. Okay, you can go to the Lowe's, Home Depot, you can grab yourself one. Or you can even go to, oh my God, what's that store? Just drew a blank. Next to World Market. Bed Bath & Beyond, there we go. I'm there like almost every week, so I don't know why I didn't remember that. They have a creme brulee torch that you can buy, probably about $8, another $4 or $5 for the gas itself. It's a little bottle. But anyway, this is the one we use here at school, a little bit more commercial use. Okay, you just got to be very careful when you're using it. It's unlocked. You guys can see the flame. This is what I love to do at home. I don't know if you guys can see. This is a quicker way of torching your tomatoes. So on a menu, you might see blistered tomatoes. You might see blistered tomatoes. You might see charred tomatoes, fire roasted tomatoes. This is what I expect to see if I see that on a menu. Okay? And the reason why I'm using a torch is I want to keep that texture on the tomato itself. Okay? If I do it in the oven or even on a saute, you can still get the same charredness that you want. The only thing is you might end up cooking the tomato faster than you would like. If this was for pasta, by all means throw it in the oven under the boiler. Real simple, guys. Do it outside. It's not going to stink up the house. You'll be just fine. Okay? You guys can see. Real simple, easy, but it adds flavor. Okay, it's that Maillard reaction. Okay, and then it also adds the color, the flavor, all that goodness that you want. I did it first because you want to let it cool down. You can chop them in half later on when they cool, or you can just leave them like that. Make sure and turn off your burner. Okay, safety first. Now, let's get into the pasta. Or, I'm sorry, let's do the vinaigrette. I think that would be better. Okay. What I'm going to make for you guys first is an unstable emulsion. What does that mean, Chef? Unstable emulsion, using a whisk. You can whisk your olive oil, because how people say water and oil don't mix. You can. You can throw it in a blender, like when I make my chimichurri sauce, and you get a stable emulsion. Eventually, it will break, but honestly, it'll probably take like 2 or 3 days, at least in my fridge when I put it in the blender. But when you're using a whisk, you can whisk your oil, your water and oil, in this case your vinegar and oil together, and it will create an emulsion, but it's an unstable emulsion, which means it's going to break eventually. Okay, so if you're doing this for your family, you start to whisk it, serve it right away. If people are going to sit there, well then just keep it aside until they're ready to consume it. Okay, so we got our vinegar. All right, we have a little bit of oregano, and you guys can't see it. Chef, give me. I don't want to mess with your tilt it a little bit. Sorry, guys. I'm over here looking at myself like, yeah, they can see me, but I'm seeing me. All right. A little bit goes a long way. You can always add more to it. Okay. Now you want to add a sweetener. I wouldn't use granulated sugar, just because you might have little granules in the end when you're mixing. So by using honey, you have that smooth texture. How's it looking? Good. Now here comes the fun part. You're gonna add a little bit of your oil. And all of this could have got thrown in, guys, with the pasta itself, everything that I have. I just wanted to show you this in case you have a little bit of spring mix or spinach set aside. For the most part, I think everybody has vinegar and oil. This is olive oil. You can even use canola oil. It has a more neutral flavor. But if you want something to impact, you want to make make your crowd go wild, go ahead and splurge for that extra virgin olive oil. Cold press. First cold press is the way to go. All right. So put a little bit more. I'm basing it off of the amount of pasta that I have here. Okay. Like I said, we can always add more. If you guys can tell, I don't know if you can see this. Can you guys see that? The screen's very small on my side. Alright, so we got a temporary emulsion going. Now I'm going to go ahead and just add everything to it. Like I said, you can start this process, or you can go ahead and add everything first, as far as your pasta, your vegetables, your cheeses, and then you can throw your vinegar, everything in a separate bowl and mix it, and then try it. But just remember, even though it tastes great in one bowl, when you're adding it to a bunch of unflavored or unseasoned ingredients, it will dim it down a little bit. So you're gonna be like, well, it tasted great at first. I need to add more salt. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Hey, everybody, come on, everybody good. And any pasta will work, guys. Macaroni, anything you have left over. So right now everything's getting coated. Okay. You might be thinking, well, we need to add more liquid to it. At this point, we don't. We're still going to add more ingredients. Pepperonis. Slice them up thin. You don't have to use pepperonis, guys. And it's an Italian cold pasta. If you want to use salami, anything you find, pancetta, prosciutto. It's just one of those, it's like a soup of the day at a restaurant. it's a soup of the day because usually, maybe I shouldn't say this, so keep it to yourself. Soup of the day is usually, hey, what do we have in the fridge that we can use up? It doesn't mean that stuff that's going bad. It's just saying, hey, what can we grab from here to make a soup? And everything just goes in there. Let's throw in some of that, this, whatever we can use, so it doesn't go bad. And we hurt our food cost in that. Cucumbers, everybody. Guys, if you're asking questions, my apologies. I can't hear you if you are, but it looks like you guys are probably just watching and maybe salivating at this point. So I'm going to continue.
There was one question. It's asking if the fuel from the torch affects the flavor of your food, in this case, the tomatoes.
Oh, no, it's just like grilling at home. Your propane tank, you ask a lot of grill masters, or just even my father-in-law, for example. He won't use anything other than propane. And the reason why, his reason is because, well, it's a pain in the butt to use charcoal. But a grill master will tell you using charcoal is the way to go. But no, you will absolutely be fine. Propane will not, it's, because they use that for creme brulee. That's why they call it creme brulee torch. You can use that for, to caramelize the sugar on top. It does not jeopardize the flavor at all. All right, cheeses, guys. We have Swiss. You can use mozzarella, even Munster. I know Munster's a real popular item in a lot of people's fridges. I'm just going to put a little bit. I always say that, but I end up putting everything. Why not? All right. We got that. We got this. What else do we need? Ooh, our charred tomatoes. Yeah, we're pretty much full at this point. Like I said, you can slice them up if you want. I'm going to leave them whole. And look, just by adding that alone, what do you think? Pretty good? Well, we're not done yet, so. All right, fresh basil. If you're gonna make a pasta like this, please use fresh basil. I know we used oregano. That was for our vinaigrette, or our unstable emulsion. You can use mint if you'd like, but that would be more like Mediterranean. In this case, fresh basil is the only thing I recommend. Of course, fresh thyme if you'd like, or even rosemary, but fresh basil, please. Grow yourself some at your house, because I use that every week. If you have any extra, send it my way. I will definitely pay for it. All right. You guys can see this. So what I'm gonna do here, guys. So I know that where's my camera guy? He left me. All right, I'm by myself. So just like a cigar, or all you're doing is getting your leaves, you're flattening them. This is just a roll or roulade. I'm just rolling like all the leaves up themselves, and I'm gonna thinly slice them. Okay. So I have some of them cut right now, not all of them, just to show you. Just thinly sliced. All right. Be careful when you're using basil, because you can bruise it to the point where it turns black. I know some Italians, when they're making their sauce or whatever it is, they don't cut it. They rip it apart, throw it in the sauce. All right. So the correct culinary term, guys, for this would be chiffonade. Okay. Thin slices thrown in. What do you guys think now? Give me a thumbs up if you're, for one, if you're still awake, and two, if it looks good. Okay, I see the thumbs. I'm all looking down here, but that's okay. Good, excellent. All right, and as always, season your food. Season your food. Season your food, please. Okay, drives me crazy, guys, when some restaurants I don't go to, you gotta season your food. Okay, salt, pepper. Now, before I present this at anywhere, my house, here, let it relax, let it chill, literally. Okay, you wanna let those flavors marry. Okay? The one last thing I'm gonna add to it, and of course this is kind of taking a little segue from going Italian to Mediterranean. I have feta. I use feta for everything. Feta's just it's so delicious. When you see it, when I add it to the dish itself, yeah, you guys will see why I put it. But if you've tried feta cheese, you understand why I use it. It's so delicious. Um, Salt content is higher, obviously, than queso fresco. It's just a delicious dish. Chef, if you don't mind, we're gonna put this in the fridge. No, that's gonna be later. I'm gonna start this after I do the grilled chicken. All right, guys. Next. Let's make a basil pesto. Delicious, delicious condiments. Delicious, you name it. It's one of those, you can add cream to it, put it in a pan, and make a cream sauce. That $15 plate you might have eaten somewhere within the U.S. or even in Italy, you can make it yourself. You can even make it better because it's fresher. All right, so here we have some basil, and I'm using a deli cup, guys. If you've ever seen these are, they've been around for not too long, but they have been around for a while. Chefs, you look anywhere, go on YouTube, a lot of chefs are using these. They're great. They're microwavable, they're stackable. Obviously, dishwasher safe. Just a wonderful, wonderful item to use. All right. So like I said before, when I first started, you can use a food processor. Okay, if you guys have one at home, by all means you can use this. But just like here with the students, when they're doing their objectives, they might make a basil pesto, but we have 5 teams making it, so they might make a small amount, which will probably equal the size of this. Using a food processor doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's why there's different. A chef should adapt to any situation. You want to go ahead and use an immersion blender. Okay, this won't power a boat, but it will do the job to make basil pesto. All right, let's go ahead and add our pine nuts. So I have garlic, 1 clove. Okay, and I have my basil pesto in here. My basil, it's not pesto yet, which is probably about 1.5 cups. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my pine nuts. Don't add too much of those. Okay. And just like always, know your ingredients, guys. Know exactly what has salt and what doesn't. Parmesan cheese has salt. Pine nuts have salt. Basil doesn't. Okay, garlic doesn't. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil because we do need some liquid to start the process. I haven't started it yet. I'm just mashing everything in there. Depending on what kind of immersion blender you have, or thunder stick, whatever whatever the name is, some work faster than others. Okay, but the cleanup on this would be a lot smoother. Add a little bit more. Okay. This one does have 2 settings. That first one, and then the second one. All right, so you guys can see inside. Obviously, it needs more oil, okay? But you can always add more. It'd be hard to take out, if you had too much. Add a little bit more oil to it. make a smooth paste. Add some of our Parmesan. Okay. And I do take my time with this, guys. Like my boss told me at one specific restaurant, I won't name it, he told me you can't rush perfection. And it's true. You know, does that mean that this basil pesto is going to be perfect? No. Oh, of course it is going to be. It's edible. But you can always perfect any dish, in my opinion. I can try your guys' food that you make, and I can find ways to, to change it, maybe make it my own, and then you guys can do the same thing to mine. Okay, there's no one perfect recipe out there. You can always make something taste better. Little at a time. So eventually, you guys. You get to that point, and you guys can hear it. You have a consistent grind through and through. That's letting you know there's no obstruction, and you're getting a smooth paste. It's not going to be completely smooth. In other words, everything in there is. It's letting you know everything in there is chopped up. I haven't added salt. I haven't added pepper. One more thing of oil. What I've also done with this, guys, if you have spinach, you need a spinach pesto. You can definitely do that. Take the stems out, which is the tedious part. Baby spinach or not, you can make a base spinach pesto. All right. I'll go ahead and put this right here. You guys see it? Okay. Now it's all based on taste. You know, like how much oil should I put, chef? You know, it's you might make a pesto out there that's really thick, and then you might make one that's which I would use, and you might want to make one that's thinner, so you can add more oil. But then you got to remember you have to compensate. Hey, do I want it tasting just like oil or like a basil pesto? A thick pesto itself, guys. Every year I make a prime rib. Oh my god, my mouth is already watery, but it's gonna water even more. Prime rib, bone in. Separate your rib loin from the bone itself gently, not all the way, maybe about 75%. Put some basil pesto all the way around, but I incorporate jalapeno to it. Oh, it's almost the holidays. It's almost. I can't wait. First time I made it was just an experiment. Why? Because I had extra basil. That sounds good. Future workshop. Hey, there we go. For who to do it? You want me to do it? Okay. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. If it's already the consistency you would like, would you add more Parmesan? No. You would add salt. Parmesan is just going to thicken it up even more. All right. Do you have to use pine nuts, guys? I would say if you can splurge for them, definitely get them. Okay. But if you can't, I have used walnuts. I have used pecans. You know, it's not gonna, you know, it's not the end of the world if you use that. It's still gonna come out delicious. Okay, and they are salty. Well, depending on where you buy them from. Oh yeah. And just be patient with this, guys. If you go this method, okay? You want to use a food processor, make a larger batch. Buy some of the deli cups. You want to freeze them. Maybe you want to cryovac it. You know, throw it in the freezer. That's totally your call. Okay, but definitely have one of these, you know, pieces of equipment in your house. It makes a world of difference. All right, so now our basil pesto is ready. Let me go ahead and get cleaned up real quick. Any questions from anybody?
One question is, are we going to be able to see recipes?
Yes, I will have that ready for you guys. If it's not today, I'll have it ready tomorrow in the morning for sure. Okay?
That sounds great.
Definitely. I'll get that for you guys. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if I give you guys recipes, you got to make it at home. Okay? Don't be scared. Okay? We do the students here when we give them recipes. They go ahead and they make it at home, but a lot of them are scared to make it at home because they think they're gonna mess up. How do you think all these wonderful dishes started? By mistakes. Okay? Chefs learn from other chefs' mistakes. Chefs or cooks learn from other chefs or cooks' mistakes. I still make mistakes. So if you make a mistake, think of me, and then move on. Okay? It happens. Um, but luckily, this thing is recorded. Let me wash my hands real quick, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Any other questions?
Not so far.
Good. How many people do we have in here? I see
There's
Brian, Carlos, Gail.
just about 13, 14, 15 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. More the merrier. That used to scare me back in the day. For my CE class, we get a full 15 students. I'm like, all right. But, anything's possible if you're prepped and prepared. Surveys. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to show you next. You utilizing the basil pesto is your grilled chicken breast. Okay. You might be scared of the grill. You don't have to use a grill. You can buy a skillet, cast iron. Some of them are double-sided. One might be a flat surface. Another one might have grill marks. Crates. So you'll be able to get those grill marks. Okay. Whatever you would like to use if you don't have a grill outside, or you can just pan sear it. Okay. But my method would be go ahead and grill it. I have to be outside grilling at least 3 to 4 times a week. If not, I get in a bad mood. Well, not really a bad mood, but my wife calls it a bad mood. I don't know what it is. All right. Let me go ahead. I feel like I'm making a YouTube video. All right, guys. I have my grill here. Just by looking at it, can anybody tell what are my hot spots? Regardless if you grill or not, how can you tell this is my hot spot? Or what is my hot spot? Anybody? No? Looking at the white area on the grill. Right here you have the white part. Yes, thank you, Frank. Okay? Here you have, it's dark, it's black. You have black all the way around. Okay? And then here is your hot spot. Okay? How you can tell, I know a lot of chefs will tell just by putting their hand over. If you can leave it there for 5 seconds, then it's, maybe, you're looking at a really cool area, for example. If you can leave it there for like no more than a second, then you're good to go. That means, my medium rares, my blue steaks, that would be perfect to grill, okay? Because you're gonna get that gorgeous sear quickly. What you can do also, which is really one of the reasons why you have a dome on your grill, you might have a Weber grill or something at home. It has a lid for one, so you can expedite that heat transfer. Okay, you want it to get up to 500 degrees. You put a piece of chicken on a 100-degree grill. Well, eventually, when it moves up to 200, all it's going to do is stick. Okay, grilling isn't hard. I've taught a lot of people, and I'm talking about just friends and family, because they were scared to want to jump out there. And what I've learned as an instructor is the one thing people are afraid of. I'm putting salt, white pepper, and oil. The one thing that scares them the most is the heat. Okay, grills, stoves, you name it, whatever has heat, they have knobs. You control the heat. Don't let the heat control you. Okay. I'm going to show you something else, and it's all going to make sense. Using the grill, I'm about to do a flambe for you guys. Because I want to teach you guys, hey, not to be scared of the heat. That's why a lot of people don't cook, in my opinion. Unless you're like my brothers, you're just lazy. I'm kidding. They're really lazy. Just kidding. I love them to death. But I love cooking. It's just I have to cook something outside. Like I said, 3-4 times a week inside. You know, yes, I have my bean burritos every once in a while, but I got to do something else too. I love to create. That's what a chef does. A cook cooks and a chef creates. All right, guys. Hope nobody took offense to it. I wasn't calling anybody lazy. I just want to make that very clear. Okay? Just go out there and have fun. So I'm lubricating my chicken breast for one, okay, with the oil, because you do not want it to stick to the grill. Salt and pepper, because you need to season everything. Okay, just like the lasagna. Lasagna has layers. Okay, and those layers need to be seasoned at every point. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and jump over here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop at an angle. What you're witnessing here, guys, this was a large chicken breast. It was actually a split breast. So if you guys ever see it at the store, or they'll call it random split breast. So it's connected it's removed from the keel bone itself, which is the chicken bone, and it's connected. So you basically have like two breasts sticking together. They're less expensive, depending on where you buy them from, the random pieces. But that's what this is. It's just been pounded out. That's why you have these little stragglers falling. Okay, let it sit. Let it do its thing. Here, do not start moving it. Okay, because then it will stick. A couple things to remember when you're grilling. Some people go 45, some people go 90 degrees, depending on how you want to get those diamond marks. Okay, 45 degrees would be the correct way. Always remember this: you turn twice and you flip once. Okay, turn it, flip it, turn it, and that's going to give you the diamond marks on both sides. Make sense? I'm not going too fast, am I? Yeah. Thank you, Chef. I'm just thinking about eating right now. I forgot to give you another key point. The reason why I put the chicken down on we call it presentation side. Well, you're looking at the chicken breast itself, the smooth surface that's sticking out, which is opposite side of the tenderloin. Tenderloin would be inside here. The other side, the smooth side, would be your presentation side. Okay. You're presenting this to a loved one, know, doesn't matter. You want to go ahead and, it's also good practice. Even if you're just hanging out watching TV, watching the basketball game, practice those grill marks. Uh, it does help a lot. I said, take everything outside, grill your vegetables, grill this or that, and just practice. All right. What I want to do next, guys, is when I have the pesto, you can grab some of that pesto that we made. You can add a little bit more oil to it, uh, and you basically make a marinade. You can add this chicken to it if you like. But the reason why I did it is because of the thickness of the chicken itself. If you have a really thin pork, pork loin, piece of pork loin that is, or a real thin piece of, sorry, chicken, chicken breast, whatever it is, as long as it's thin, you can go ahead and marinate in the pesto itself, and not jeopardize burning your chicken or anything on it. Okay? Because remember, you do have a little bit of chunks in here. So just imagine if that was garlic, which most of it, or some of it is, a lot of it's pine nuts and also Parmesan. Okay? Um, if that's sitting here, by this point, it's already going to burn. Okay? Hot grill, thin piece of chicken. You want to go ahead and utilize your basil pesto. Like I said, just make sure your chicken is thin. If it's really thick like this, maybe you didn't pound it out, just wait. And that's what I'm doing here. Does that make sense? Hope I didn't confuse anybody. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Gil. All right. Drum roll, please. We're gonna flip this chicken. If it doesn't have beautiful marks, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go home, hide in a closet. Well, I'm gonna have lunch first, and then I'm gonna hide. Now, are those, diamond marks? Technically, no, they're not. But like I said, you can go 45 or 90. Okay, they look more box shaped. Diamond marks would look more like yay. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Do 45 degrees instead of turning it out to here. Make it, uh, make it straight with the grill grates itself. Okay, but it still looks beautiful. Still has great presentation. What I'm gonna do here. If this was a steak, definitely you want to, Thank you. If you're grilling a steak, you definitely want to, execute those grill marks because that's your presentation. Here, I'm going to go ahead and cut it and place it on our pasta. Okay. All right, guys. So this chicken is going to continue to cook. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the salad itself. Thank you, Chef. All right, guys. Now we're gonna finish up this pasta.
There's one question someone's asking, how do you prevent it from drying on the outside edges?
The chicken itself?
Yes.
For one, that's why you want to execute a uniform piece of chicken breast. Okay, make sure you don't have any stragglers. Some you might have, but all those end pieces that you saw, I'm gonna cut those up, and those are gonna be my taste testers. Okay, we're gonna have this piece here. Of course, that's just gonna burn. That's not part of the chicken, but you can, fabricate it before you bring it out to your grill. Cut it. Like I said, if you buy a chicken breast that's ready to go, you don't have to pound it. You know, you're good to go. But one thing you guys also can do to so you won't end up with a dry product is you want to brine your chicken breast. Or you can also do shrimp, you can also do pork. But just your simple base would be water, sugar, and salt. Okay, you want to heat it up, not to a boil, but just enough to dissolve all your granules, okay? From there, you can add some enhancers if you like. Maybe some bay leaf, some
Another thing too with like, you know, preventing your chicken from being dry is like what Chef Diaz was talking about as far as like you only turn it and only flip it one time. If you keep flipping a chicken back and forth, you're essentially drying out the edge because you keep like lowering the temperature and then raising it back up to cook it every time you flip it. So if you only flip it once, you want to keep it halfway through on one side, halfway through on the other side, and that's it. So the next time you flip it over, it's going to have to reheat the side you already cooked to keep cooking it more, and that will dry it out. And the other thing too is with it is you want to cook chicken, you need it to be 165 degrees to be safe. You want to pull it off the grill when it's about 160 degrees and let it rest. Just like you let the pasta salad rest so the flavors are going to mature or marry. You want to let the chicken rest too, because when it heats, what the heat does is it pushes all the moisture into the center of the chicken, because it's moisture, it's water, so like the heat is pushing at it and it just goes to the middle. As you let it rest, it relaxes and all the moisture like basically repopulates the rest of the chicken breast. If you take something off the grill right away and cut into it, you're basically, all the moisture in the middle, it's going to drain out, and then you'll have a dry product too. But the general rule of thumb is like you want something to rest something for about, you know, like a third of the cooking time is what you're looking for. It's very obvious in like steaks, because sometimes if you cut into it right off the grill, that's when you get all that blood that comes out of it everywhere. And it's because all that blood, the moisture, didn't have time to relax.
you
So
guys
those are some of the things
if
too.
you don't have thermometers, please buy them. Okay?
Yes.
Please buy a thermometer. A digital one like so. Webstront.com, which is W-E-B, like restaurant, but web. Webstront.com. You can go to, you know, you can just check Amazon. This is a tailor-made product. You can use that. You get readings within, I know you guys look at all the specs. One of the first things I look at is if it gives me a reading less than 5 seconds, then this is the one I want to get. But digital is the way to go. By all means, guys, that's the first thing you need to buy. Okay? You want to insert it through the thick side. You're not going straight up and down. Okay? It's going to get your lowest reading. Okay, we're almost there. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the grill marks that I had before. So it's not overcooked. It still needs a little more time. And I know we're running out of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and speed up a little bit. Chef, I'm gonna jump on the bacon vinaigrette. Please let me watch the chicken for me. I'm gonna use both chicken breasts, one for here and one for my salad. The next salad coming up is really simple, easy, guys. Let's go ahead and get that started. Alright, guys. If you can't see the pot, the pan, or anything, just let me know. Yeah, we'll kill them right now. You know, I think just these will be fine. Alright, warm bacon vinaigrette dressing. Really simple, and I went ahead and sped it up for you guys. And what I'm talking about is I rendered off my bacon bits. Okay, it's not your thick cut bacon, guys. Use any kind. Chop it up. cook it, or you can cook it and then chop it up. That's totally up to you. The main thing you want to execute, guys, keep this in mind. You want to render the bacon slow and low, so you get that delicious gold. That's what we call, us chefs call, which is the grease. Okay, that's something you can use for rub it on your face. Just go outside and tan, or just saute your vegetables with it. But use it moderately, just very little at a time. Something you want to do because it is bacon grease, okay? But it's still gold, liquid gold. All right. What I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna leave my bacon in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of onions to this. You can use shallots, a little bit sweeter. One of the most delicious essences, aromas, guys, is bacon and onions and garlic all together, which is what I use during Thanksgiving time to incorporate into my fully loaded mashed potatoes, or a topping just for a simple chicken breast or steak. Oh, the aroma in here is just. All right. You can add garlic to this, or you can omit it, your choice. I'm gonna keep it out. I'm gonna put some Dijon. This is your emulsifier that you can add to your vinaigrette. The one I showed you earlier. That'll help you maintain a stable emulsion. All right, Chef. Ready? Oh, with the lights are off. This one off. All right. We have honey, so we have our sweetener, and the moment of truth, brandy. When you involve, I know you guys can't see me, but this is magic time. When you involve any kind of liquor, guys, and heats, make sure you keep them far away as possible. Social distance them too at all costs. Okay? Pull your pan away. Hotter the pan, the higher the flame. Remember that. Okay? The reason why the flame didn't catch on right away is because the flame was low. Okay? We have a little bit left. There you go. I'm not shaking the pan like super crazy. But even what I'm doing here, I don't want you guys to do it at home. We're gonna get the lights turned on. Sorry. Here we go. Welcome back. Like I was telling you, be very careful when you use alcohol to make a bananas fosters or a simple bacon dressing like this. I told you guys not to do the pan. I tend to do that because I'm used to it, guys. It's something I've done for a very long time, so I'm basically I'm used to it. Okay, so when you put the pan back on, you want it to ignite, just leave it alone. Okay, you want to give it a slight stir, you can, but if it scares you that much, just back off and make sure you have someone else there with you. Okay, you want to get a little zoom in on this. You guys see how we got a little emulsification going on because of the sorry, my mouth's watering. Because of the mustard. The one thing that I'm still missing is my acid. Right there I have apple cider vinegar. And for everything we're making, it's all a balance of flavors. How are we doing on time? Guys, I'm sorry, I don't want to. 10 minutes? 10 minutes?
Yeah, you can go till 2 is fine.
Okay. I'll go to 2:10. I just don't. I'm trying, guys. I'm having a lot of fun here. Like this excites me. So please don't hesitate to stop me because this is my happy time. All right, good. So adding your acid, your sugar, it's just balancing flavors, not just to your liking, but to your guest liking. Okay, my guest would be Chef Nickerson. It would be the guest in 1309. It would be my wife, it would be my family. Okay, I don't call them customers. I don't call them, they're my taste testers. They're my guests because they're trying my food and I want their honest opinions. And I'm gonna cook for them the way I would cook for my mom. Okay, and that's what we should all do, or your father, or whoever it might be. All right. So adding the vinegar, guys. The last thing I want to add to that, just remember this, because I do get a lot of questions from pretty much anybody. Chef, well, how can I make this taste better? What is this missing? Well, bottom line, your acid. What does vinegar give you? It gives you three things: beginning, middle, and the end. You want to close your eyes for a second and just envision it. You put something into your mouth, okay, a chicken breast, if it's Alfredo pasta, whatever it might be, and it seems to die down, okay, the flavor, or it just doesn't carry through. But vinegar is going to help keep that alive at first, and in the middle, and linger on towards the end. Does that make sense? You guys can open your eyes now. I'm just kidding. Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So right here, you don't need a whole lot of liquid, okay? What I want to do, over here, Chef. So I'll put cleaner on this side. All right. Got my knife. Got my chicken. All right, your chicken breast, guys, you want to cut it in half. Here's a little trick behind the scenes. You know, a lot of people won't tell you. It's a little trick that chefs do. Okay, same piece of cut. If you guys are fans of salmon, here's one thing you can do. You can slice this, or vertical, if you want. Okay, but if I were to cut this for you guys, and it might look small, but if I cut it on the bias, how much bigger that piece ends up looking. You can go as thin as you like. Okay. But you fan this out, for example, and you guys are just looking at that. Doesn't that look like a larger portion than it would if I were to cut it vertically? Okay. Again, something I probably shouldn't tell you, but something you can do at home. Okay. Now with the pesto, I know I told you guys it was going to be spinach. I think Gail, I told you that on the email. We had some spring mix lying around. That's what we're using. Nothing wrong with that. Still come out delicious. Still consists of spinach inside, along with different lettuces. Arugula, one of my favorites. Very peppery. So that's your first dish, and now I'm gonna go ahead and get into your pesto. So you can put pesto in here if you want, guys. It's your call. On top. Sharp knife is the way to go, guys. Okay, if you don't have a sharp knife, please get one. Um, buy a sharpening stone. And before you guys say anything, this is not a portion, okay? Don't think this is, wow, that's a lot of, that's a lot of chicken, that's a lot of pasta for one dish. Just showing you presentation. Obviously, you can use this presentation to serve people. You can dice up the chicken, mix it all together, however you'd like. Okay, but here's what I wanted to show you. My apologies, I didn't have a spoon. Okay, you can use a spoon. But like I said, as chef, we usually improvise, you know, make something out of nothing. What do you guys think? Simple? Easy?
Do you guys have any questions at all?
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. Very good. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you, Clara. Oh yeah, Carlos. Thank you. Yeah, it's easy. Just utilizing chicken on both. Other ingredients also. Like I said, if you wanted to just use spinach, make a spinach pesto instead of basil. You're dovetailing all these ingredients without having to, buy 100 ingredients, for example. You're gonna buy a lot less. If you could send me the recipe, I would be happy to share it. Yes, of course, Gil. I will definitely send those recipes out. Frank, immersion blender to make pesto as a game changer. Awesome. Are you saying that because you've done that before, or this is the first time you've seen it, witnessed it? First time. Awesome. Sweet. Guys, I'm a chef at heart. I have no problem sharing any ideas or recipes. You know, all you got to do is change one recipe, a simple ingredient, and it technically becomes yours. Okay. I don't like following recipes, but as a student, of course, I had to. But that's the thrill, the excitement of cooking. Okay. Hopefully, you guys, when I do send the recipes out, you guys will try them. Get my email down. Send me pictures. I would love to see that. That'd be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this is great. The food looks delicious. We wish we were there in person in order to taste it, but it looks great. So thank you guys so much. Thank you to you and to Chef Nickerson. We really appreciate all the tips and the information that you gave us today.
Thank you guys. I wish you could be here to try this. So I'm gonna. A chef has to do what he has to do, and I'm gonna go ahead and indulge and think of you guys while I'm eating it. So.
Thank you. We appreciate you. And this video will be posted. We're going to go ahead and post it on our EPCC YouTube. So if anybody would like to look at it later or to share with some friends, yeah, go on to our EPCC YouTube. The Culinary Arts also have other videos up there too. So you might want to go and see what they have up there. They have Chef Share, as well as some other Tejano virtual event workshops that they've also done for us as well. So thank you all. Thank you again for agreeing to do this for us today. We really appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys. You guys have a wonderful week, and please be safe.
Thank you. You too. And thanks to everyone for coming. I have put some links in the chat box for the passport points as well as for a survey. Next week, we are going to be having the El Paso Community College art faculty present on the marvelous in the mundane. So hope to see you again on Monday at 1 o'clock. And thank you guys for coming.